let's talk about DHT, dihydrotestosterone, the end product of androgen metabolism, and by far the most potent androgen, which is derived from testosterone through the action of the 5-alpha reductase enzyme in men. It's present in skeletal muscle, prostate tissue, skin, nervous system tissue, and plays a critical role in muscle growth, performance, and male health. DHT is significantly more androgenic than testosterone. DHT biochemistry and metabolism, it's important to understand this. DHT is synthesized, it's derived from testosterone via the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which converts testosterone into DHT. The synthesis of testosterone follows a multi-step pathway: cholesterol to pregnenolone to dihydroepiandrosterone, also known as DHEA, to testosterone. Then testosterone gets converted to DHT via 5-alpha reductase. There are two isozymes for this, but really all you need to know is DHT is the end product that's derived from testosterone. So there are two types of 5-alpha reductase, and they have different effects. Type 1, it's found in the liver, sebaceous glands, and the skin, and the systemic effects throughout the body include sebum production, which is just skin oil, and it regulates hair growth. Type 2 5-alpha reductase is found in the prostate, genital tissue, and hair follicles. It has localized effects, meaning DHT in these tissues plays a critical role in sexual development, reproductive health, and secondary male characteristics. So why is this important? Some individuals have genetic variations in 5-alpha reductase activity, which affects how much testosterone gets converted into DHT. Higher 5-alpha reductase activity means more DHT, which leads to stronger androgenic effects in the body: more muscle density, libido, motivation, and fat loss. If you have two men with the same level of testosterone and one male has higher levels of 5-alpha reductase activity, that male will have higher levels of DHT and therefore is a good chance of having more muscle density, higher libido, better motivation, and enhanced ability to lose fat and build muscle. DHT metabolism and clearance, extremely critical function to understand. So DHT is metabolized by 3-alpha hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase in the liver, also known as 3-alpha HSD. It's converted into 3-alpha androstenediol, which is later just excreted from the body. So if 3-alpha HSD activity is too high, DHT breaks down too quickly, which leads to lower active levels in the body. And low DHT levels can negatively impact muscle growth, recovery, cognitive function, and libido. So balancing 5-alpha reductase activity and DHT metabolism is key to optimizing muscle building, fat loss, and athletic performance. So the rate of 5-alpha reductase activity and the 3-alpha HSD metabolism determines DHT levels and tissue effects. More DHT, more androgenic effects: increased muscle mass and strength, enhanced fat metabolism, stronger CNS drive, better motivation, focus, aggression in training, faster recovery, and improved joint and tendon health. Optimizing DHT requires managing 5-alpha reductase activity while preventing excessive breakdown by 3-alpha HSD. So DHT is not just a bad androgen. It's often misunderstood because it promotes hair loss, but that also has a lot to do with androgen sensitivity and follicle genetics. It's a key driver of peak male performance. Proper nutrition, sleep, stress management, and training strategies can optimize DHT levels naturally. DHT is not often tested for in regular hormone panels, so you may want to ask your physician to get that test specifically or work through us to get your blood levels of DHT analyzed. So why is DHT essential for performance and muscle growth? DHT has a huge impact on skeletal muscle adaptation. Its role in muscle growth and strength is absolutely critical because it binds to androgen receptors with 3 to 10 times higher affinity than testosterone. That means that DHT is significantly more potent in triggering the androgenic response and the muscle building process than testosterone alone. That means that DHT will beat out testosterone in terms of binding to an androgen receptor, translocating into the cell nucleus, being read by the androgen response element, and then being transcribed into proteins and DNA that will trigger an anabolic muscle building process in the body. So DHT also enhances muscle fiber recruitment and hypertrophy via androgen receptor signaling. So it stimulates satellite cell proliferation, which plays a key role in muscle repair, recovery, and adaptation. It increases myonuclear accretion, which improves long-term muscle building potential and plays a huge role in you accruing mature muscle mass. And enhanced DHT levels also result in more myonuclei, which equals greater muscle size and endurance over time. DHT can also help reduce muscle protein breakdown, making it an anti-catabolic hormone, which helps you preserve muscle mass, and this is especially critical as you battle sarcopenia when you start to age. So DHT accelerates muscle growth, it prevents muscle loss, and this makes it very, very critical for composition and strength development. DHT also has a huge impact on your central nervous system activation. So its influence on strength and power output is tremendous. It enhances CNS drive, which improves motor unit recruitment and neuromuscular efficiency, which leads to better coordination, explosiveness, and peak power output within training sessions. DHT has effect on motivation and cognitive function. It increases dopamine receptor sensitivity, which leads to higher motivation, aggression, and cognitive function, which is crucial for maintaining high levels of training intensity, focus, and competitive drive. It reduces serotonin-mediated fatigue, which extends your time to exhaustion, meaning you can do more work and more intense work with less fatigue. This also means higher endurance and improved work capacity during training, which will mean greater stimulus of the body, which will also mean greater recovery and better results. So DHT enhances both physical and mental performance, making it essential for peak athletic ability and strength training. So there are plenty of scientific findings on DHT and muscle growth. Studies show that DHT increases myogenic differentiation in muscle cells, which boosts recovery, speed, and enhances muscular density, which also means that higher DHT levels are directly linked to better muscle repair, faster recovery, and greater overall muscle tissue quality. So DHT is not just about having high levels. It's not just about testosterone conversion. It is simply a powerful driver of muscle growth, CNS activation, and cognitive performance. Higher DHT levels equal better recovery, reduce fatigue, and enhance muscular performance. Understanding and optimizing DHT levels is crucial for athletes, bodybuilders, and anyone looking to maximize physical performance. So not only is DHT essential for performance and muscle growth, it also has an outsized impact on fat metabolism and your recovery. So how does DHT support fat loss? It stimulates fat oxidation by upregulating lipolytic enzymes in adipose tissue, which breaks down stored fat for energy utilization. Studies show a strong correlation between higher DHT levels and lower body fat percentages in men, i.e., those two are inversely related. This makes DHT critical for maintaining a lean, muscular physique, especially for athletes aiming to stay in peak condition, or potentially for you if you're trying to be lean and powerful at the same time. So DHT plays a major role in fat loss and body recomposition. Now, in terms of recovery, DHT plays a huge role in injury prevention and tissue repair. It enhances collagen synthesis, strengthens tendons and ligaments, and it's key for injury prevention and structural integrity. As we know, collagen makes up about 30% of the protein found in our body. It accelerates wound healing and joint repair by activating androgen receptors in connective tissue, and that means faster recovery after intense workouts, which also reduces soreness and prevents chronic injuries. So, athletes with higher levels of DHT exhibit greater strength output, faster reaction times, better performance under high stress conditions, and improved recovery. So at this point, obviously, DHT optimization is an absolute game changer. So the next question is, how do we maximize the levels of DHT in the body through an endogenous process and via natural methods? So since DHT is such a potent androgenic hormone, it has 3 to 10x the affinity for androgen receptors compared to testosterone. It has basically limitless potential in terms of its ability to enhance your muscle building potential and prevent muscle loss, as well as enhance CNS drive, improve cognitive function, and recovery. The big question is, how do we optimize DHT naturally? How do we optimize DHT through endogenous processes naturally within the body via supplementation, diet, and lifestyle? That's the answer we're going to get to. So, sleep and stress management are probably the most important lever to pull in terms of optimizing DHT, and this is because cortisol competes with testosterone for pregnenolone. And as you know, DHT is converted from testosterone. So, with that being said, high cortisol will mean less raw material for androgen production because higher cortisol means lower testosterone. So chronic stress will actually upregulate the 3-alpha HSD enzyme, which breaks down DHT faster and also leads to lower levels. So not only are you producing less DHT because of the cortisol steal effect, whereas the body is utilizing more pregnenolone to convert to cortisol versus pregnenolone to convert to testosterone, The upregulation of 3-alpha HSD is also breaking down whatever DHT is in your system at a much faster rate. So deep sleep is also critical when it comes to DHT production, because deep sleep and REM sleep is when 5-alpha reductase is the most active, meaning DHT production is optimized during high quality sleep. So what you want to do is make sure you get 7 to 9 hours of high quality sleep, manage your stress, bring down your cortisol through meditation, monitoring your HRV, and maybe implementing some simple breathwork techniques to lower levels of stress and cortisol. When it comes to diet is super important for DHT, as you probably guessed. So high cholesterol foods like egg yolks, grass-fed beef, and butter will provide your body with the raw material, cholesterol, to engage in the steroidogenesis process, which will at the end convert testosterone into DHT. You want to make sure you're getting adequate levels of saturated and monounsaturated fats. So things like olive oil, avocados, and red meat are essential for DHT production, as well as zinc and magnesium. Oysters, shellfish, and dark chocolate are good sources of this. And creatine monohydrate, the most commonly available, one of the cheapest forms of creatine, will increase 5-alpha reductase activity, which leads to more DHT production. Creatine is absolutely safe for all ages, so you can even start taking that as a very young youth athlete. It will lead to more DHT production, which will also enhance your ability to build long-term muscle mass throughout your lifespan. So eat higher fat levels, more pro-androgenic diet to support steroidogenesis and DHT conversion, and pretty much everybody on the planet should supplement with creatine at least 5 grams daily. There is new research showing that you can go above 5 grams if you have more muscle mass and if you have more activity levels within your normal lifestyle. Above 5 grams could be beneficial for even further DHT production. Exercise also influences DHT levels, obviously. So heavy compound lifting, 3 to 6 rep range, 85 to 90% of your 1 rep max will stimulate 5-alpha reductase, which increases DHT production. Explosive movements, pro-androgenic training style, sprints, jumps, Olympic lifts will enhance CNS drive, which relies on DHT for activation. And minimal chronic cardio load is ideal. So excessive endurance training will elevate cortisol, which will suppress DHT. So the idea is that you want to train with high intensity, explosive movements and avoid excessive low intensity cardio. One of the many unfortunate things about aging is that DHT will also decline with age. Testosterone production decreases. So since DHT is derived from testosterone via 5-alpha reductase, any decline in testosterone will inevitably reduce DHT synthesis. There's simply less raw material for the body to work with to produce DHT. So testosterone levels will naturally decline by about 1% per year after age 30, which leads to a gradual drop in DHT availability. The second phase of this is that 5-alpha reductase activity declines. So 5-alpha reductase is the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT, which leads to less DHT conversion from your circulating testosterone. So lower 5-alpha reductase activity means less potent androgenic signaling in tissues like muscles, your central nervous system, and reproductive organs. Step 3 of this process is that increased 3-alpha HSD activity will enhance DHT clearance, which means DHT half-life and its general availability throughout your tissues is limited. So 3-alpha HSD, 3-alpha hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase, breaks down DHT to its inactive metabolite, 3-alpha androstenediol. Then the body excretes this. So aging increases 3-alpha HSD expression, which means faster clearance of DHT from the body, the half-life is shortened, and this reduces androgen receptor signaling. Increased sex hormone binding globulin. So SHBG binds to testosterone and DHT, makes it unavailable for receptor activation. So aging leads to higher SHBG levels, which reduces the amount of bioavailable DHT that can bind to androgen receptors. And then finally, higher estrogen levels, increased aromatization in the body. With age, testosterone aromatizes into estrogen more readily, which reduces the testosterone pool available for DHT conversion. So higher estrogen also promotes 3-alpha HSD activity, which further accelerates DHT breakdown. So there is literally a 5-fold process that causes the decline with DHT as you age. Even more reason to train with intensity, eat a pro-androgenic diet with enough fats and enough protein and enough carbohydrates, and train in a way that stimulates the production of DHT and testosterone throughout the nervous system, and minimize stress and cortisol levels through good sleep, meditation, and breathing techniques to optimize DHT and fight the battle of aging naturally.